Here in the bottom of page P Aleph. In the middle of discussing the Indian, what Atzilus. The Atzilus Adam Eleli. He said that Atzilus in general is Adam Eleli. Oiris of Atzilus are Adam Eleli and the Oiris of Shifnei Tzimtzum. And the Cain of that Atzilus are Adam Eleli into Ak, which Ak is also called in Sof. So the key point is that Atzilus is Adam Eleli, Ein Sof. It's resembling the Ein Sof itself. So three pages from the 3 lines on the bottom of the page P Aleph. And Nimtzo the Chlovis in Atzilus, Chlovis Prince Atzilus, Prince Adam Eleli. And Atzilus is called Adam because Adam Eleli, it resembles the alien. Lochein Gam Atzilus Prince Ein Sof, because Atzilus is in the state of Adam Eleli, Atzilus itself is also called Ein Sof. Is also the Prince Ein Sof. The word is expressed. The Ein Sof feels Atzilus Ein Sof is Pashtus. There's a concept of Ein Sof is Pashtus in Atzilus Gufet. When the spheres of Atzilus have this quality of infinity. Ein Sof is Pashtus. Which comes to say, it's here. Lashon Sefer Tzira is midos an eser shein lehem sof. Shem gam p'nei sakenim, which goes makomach. So the spheres of Atzilus, even the kenim of Atzilus, have this quality that Ein Sof is Pashtus. I know lies that Atzilus Adam Elel as a Prince Ein Sof. Atzilus is Adam Elel, and that is why it's infinite. It's Adam Elel, it resembles the higher Madriga, which is Ein Sof, the Atzmius. The male, it's also Ein Sof. So that he says a new way of explaining. Like I said, in other places, the Agbola is called Agbola Atzmis. Here he says that the reason it's Agbola is not its own Agbola. It's Davar Acha Ameidus. With the perspective of the Makabel is only getting a limited flow. But mitzad mashpia it's grigvul ringai kamoi birish shleimoi biriya is not this. Sorry, kamoi biriya says there's an interesting diuk in what it says in the Iriyas. Just learned in Chumash, but Iriyas of Ishkan. It says shmeina ve'esrim bo amo. So I say shmeina ve'esrim bo amo, but lo nema kofches amo. So we say shmeina ve'esrim amo. What's the base? This is a concept that is brought in that the Chassidus explains the Bligvul of Atzilus. That means that be'etzem the Iriyas are Bligvul. That bo'ama to the amo you only will measure of a part of it. Well, Kamoichin Atzilus be'etzem of Bligvul akshenim that. Similar to Atzilus, which be'etzem is Bligvul, akshenim that the medida is only milamata, tzadam kabel. So it brings a look at the Torah. One second, I want to bring in a look at the Torah here. So we'll maybe a better understanding. Let's see. Okay. So the Torah, where does it say the Torah? Build the opinion. That's the build. There's the build. Okay. Let's see here. Okay. If you want, you can look it up. Okay, I'll put it up on the WhatsApp. So the Russian is like this. So if you just tighten up, there's a little bit. It says, "Zeh shekosu." שהספירס הם מבחינת אינסוף, כשהשפוע מעביד את מבחינת גבול. זהו שכל בריס המשכן 8 בעם, אבל לא הקסיב 8 עמס, שהיריס נתדע עצמם מבחינת בלי גבול, כי יש מבחינת עמה, המיידד עצמם מצמצמס. That is the way he explained that בעצם it's בלי גבול. גם, that's another way to look at it, which costs בדבר מסחיר, לא עניין אינסוף, ומעלה דין קץ, שהדרך שימו בויר בלי גבול בגבול. Interesting. So it brings another way to explain the Agbola. The Agbola is because the Rishima. So that's step one. That the Gligvul is something from the outside. Rishima, I'm not sure what the Rishima means. Now that's one point. Another point is a Mashanim Ponim. Even the fact that it's Nimdad, that's because of our Bilvad. That's Tzimtzum. So the verse named that because it's all about well, that's it can be named that if we could capture part of it. So that is the way we describe that Tzilus. Tzilus has this quality of bligvul, ein sof, because it's Adam Elayli. So let's get to us, we're trying to describe Zera Adam, the Shamas that Tzilus. The Shamas that Tzilus also have the same quality of Tzilus. Sheyesh das elim belikus. That's doilo belikus. They have this high level of das of we learned earlier das hakorav hagoshan belikus. V'meila imchnas ilu ve'ilu bli shiur. So v'meila they also have the ein sof, just like Natzilus is ein sof. They also have that the hiluch v'aliyah is bli shiur. Yes, because Adam Eleli. There's a state of Adam Eleli. Gam, another thing, ein efsek where it doesn't cloud. The neshama is that in the state of ein efsek. There's no interruption. Or kamoi be'iyah shein nishkach mitzalem. So the mashal about earlier of Re'iyah and Shmiya. One of the differences of Re'iyah and Shmiya is that Re'iyah is something that you Shmiya is something you learn, you hear something, but you forget. But Re'iyah, you never forget. Something you saw, you don't forget what you saw. It has such a deep effect on you. So the same thing here. There's no ein efsek because ein Re'iyah. Because this neshamas of Atzilus, they're above worldliness. The world does not interfere with their avodah because they're above it. Similar to what we said about Atzilus,
nobody.
Sorry.
They were sitting here watching the president's address.
Mati, what's going on? Mati, please put on.
Sorry, David. Sorry, by accident. Not by accident. Sorry.
Yeah, everything happens. Yeah. Okay. Kumai Batsilos, imitation in that Nikom Commental is Trashtus and Neshadamelene canal. Just like we explained to get to to Olam HaAtzilus, the spheres of Atzilus. It's Ein Sof. The Agbal is only Mivachutz, only it is Nimdat, Ein Sof. The same Neshama is Atzilus is Bli Gvul. What is the example of that? Yosef. Shagam Sha'asa Binyan Olam. Yosef took care of all these things. He took care of the whole food situation in Mitzrayim. Kol Makom Oya B'Esayi Uchnes Makov. At the same time, it was Makov Lelikus. So that's the Shamas that seals. That's the Zer Shank and the Shamas the Biyah, Sha'ila Mastil, and the Shamas whatever it does. The regular in the Shamas, on the Shamas the Biyah. So the world interferes with them, it hides. Mele Yesh Efseg whatever it does. So summarizing the whole concept we discussed, Zer Adam. That we started all discussion. Zer Adam, Zer Bein. Zer Adam, Adam El Elin, the decent Shamas of Atzilus, as Zer Adam, Adam El Elin, Shem Chnes Bli Gvul, that the Shamas in the state of Bli Gvul, like Adam, Adam El Elin, the Shamas itself are Adam El Elin. They resemble the alien. Number one, Ein Mashain Efseg Vavedasa. There's no interruption in the work, nothing can interfere. V'gain Mashem Chnes Ma'alef, Chnes Bli Gvul. And they're also in the state, always in the state of Ilu Ma'alach. They always move up and up without a step, without a limit. All this is a result of the fact that they're in the state of Das Ke'iloi. Okay, so this, the way we see it now, means that it's like the type of neshamas of Atzilus. Not everybody has access to it, but now he says that really, in a smaller scale, it applies to everybody. Zeo gam kan yesh efesh pasha sheni education, pasha shni education. So this general difference to start in the shamas, you find every individual there's a difference between pasha sheni and pasha shni. The first pasha, the pasha sheni now v'chol meidech. Pasha sheni we say v'av Hashem l'kecha b'chol avov v'chol nafsh v'chol meidech. Pasha shniya lo now v'chol meidech. Second pasha says v'chol avav v'chol nafsh. Doesn't say v'chol meidechem. So it's a major difference. So there's a famous line in the Maggid about it. So the Maggid says that Pasha Sheni is Oisim Utzayin Nishal Makam, Pasha Shniya Ein Oisim. What does it mean in our context? The Ine Adam Moisias Ma'oid. The word Ma'oid really is a remez in Adam. It's the same letters. So Adam is the Oisias Ma'oid, which goes with the Raftini in the Maimon of the Raftini. The Maimon just looked up the bio about the Amad of it, and the Maimon itself. It talks about how Adam and Ma'oid are the same thing. Finally, Yosef Adam El Elin, Kinas Kiloi Adam. Interesting. It says Kiloi Adam. The Eibush himself is Kiloi Adam who, and the Madrig of Adam is Adam El Elin. It resembles the alien, which is Loi Adam. Adam Lashon Adam. So that's the Indian of Ma'oid. What is the avoid of Ma'oid? The liebe of his heart and passion with Hamadas. It's this pure desire, pure state of yearning to connect to the Eibush Shalom with Hamadas above logic. This is what we learned earlier when we spoke about Das. The Das creates Hazaz. It moves the person. Like you said, the difference in the person who hears about the beautiful picture, the person who sees it. So the seeing is what Be'el Azaz. It moves them. It shakes them up.
So what
That's
happened with the
what?
What happened? Didn't explain. I didn't get the difference of the first and second. The whole Mordechai doesn't say.
Wait. Right now we're in the first parsha. First parsha it says B'chol Ma'oidcha. Ma'oidcha is Adam. Adam is Adam El'elin Shalom et Havadas. And the V'zein Azaz Shenas Al Yedei Hadas is still in the parsha Rishona. Kanal B'inyan Das Alekei V'cha V'avdeyu. The Das is V'avdeyu. That's the avodah of belief Shalom, which means without interruption. Another to express another pasuk. Media b'shamayim, media b'shamayim. There's nobody there. There's no b'shamayim ba'aretz. Why? Ki imli kol k'nes atzay and sof. This is the madrig of Adam Ma'oid. Pasha Rishen of Krishma, Meidecha, that he wants to call Batzim and so. This is the higher level, the Zera Odom. Pasha Shniya Voyim Shamayim Tishmu, B'chinas Shmiya Levad. Pasha Shniya is Shmiya Levad. L'chein Loi Nama V'chol Meidecha. That's why in this Pasha Shniya doesn't say B'chol Meidecha. Pasha Shniya is like Zera Veima. You don't reach that high level of connection. So we finished saying, okay, so again, first we spoke about Neshama is Atzilus, Neshama is the Biyah, but he says really in our Avodah, everybody's Avodah, there's a minor scale, both of these states of Avodah, there's Pasha, you read B'chol Medech or Tal B'chol Medech. But then...
So what, so still is not clear, I'm not.
What's not clear?
So the difference, why it doesn't say B'chol Meotchem means what?
Because you can't reach that level of Osa the Liba. In Pasha Shniya, Shmiya, Pasha, you have that the Das, the Akor V'Agosha, Lekus, that brings the person to Osa the Liba, B'chol Meotchem. Pasha Shniya is only a saga, one of a saga, Shemaya. It's not Re'iyah, lacks the union of Re'iyah. But Mele, the avoid you can get is only B'chol Avav B'chol Nafshecha. B'shein B'chol Meidecha, which is Adam Elyon Bli Gvul, that cannot be reached in Pasha Shniya. Because that's why there's no B'chol Meidecha, because it's only level of the avoid of Zera Be'em, like Pasha Shniya, like Shmiya. Okay, so that's one step. All these things we said about Das is such a high level, but the truth is Das itself also has two stages. Das Elon and Das Tachten. In Das Gufa, there's Das Elon and Das Tachten. Das Tachten gam ken Das. Das Tachten is also a way of Das that like we said earlier, Kova Gosha Velikus. Aval, it's like a more minor, diminished stage of Das. Das Shabahasoga. It's part of the Hasoga. Like part of the understanding is there's a deeper level of understanding, which is a core which you described earlier in the Maimon. There's a way that you capture something which is like a course. Like we said, the marshal that you don't just have to understand the formula how it works. You really know the inner. You really know the inside, and you understand how it actually works. In Das Gufa, he says the Das we just described is still not the ultimate Das. The Amit is a Das. So basically it introduces us to a Madrigan Das, which is not Mamish Das Alien, which is like Pnei Adam. There's also in the Tachten is also Das, which means the person who didn't reach Zera Behema. Zera Behema also has Das. That's the point he's making it. That even if someone who doesn't be'etzem is not shiur to the higher level of das, can have a certain level of das. Because of B'chinas das tachten, B'chinas pnei adam shebemerkov. It's an interesting thing in the Merkava. The Merkava, the way it's described in Yecheskel, in the Haftarah of Shavuos, it talks about the four malachim chayit, the whole four chayes that carry the Merkava. So one of them, it says Pnei Adam, Pnei Shiur, Pnei Arya, Pnei Nesha. One of the four chayes of the Merkava, he calls them achayes, arba achayes. But one of them is Pnei Adam. I mean, it's a chaya, it's something which is a level of behemoth, but it has a Pnei Adam. It has a face of Adam, which means that's what he describes. That's das tachte. The ime yes of Adam I call dalat chayes hamakov. So this is the concept. This is the point when he introduces here das tachten. In the tachten, in chayes, in behemoth, there's also Adam. There's das. There's a level of das that even a behemoth can also can also reach. Now it takes us back to answer the question that he asked. Why come Yaakov's avodah? He asked the question earlier in the Maimon. Why was Yaakov's avodah? He's busy with tzoin Lavan, which means Yaakov's avodah he was occupied with the tzoin, the sheep, with the behemoths of Lavan. So now we get back after we described the whole concept of different Adam and behemoth. And the last thing he said was that the behemoth itself can also have a partial type of das. That's actually what Yaakov did. Das Elyon b'neshama zeraveim. The neshamas of zeraveim shall also have das. Shagam ba'eri yakapko ki'iloi. Even the neshamas the biyah which are zeraveim should also have a certain level of das. That was his avodah. The neshama, why? The neshama is the biyah. The neshama is the biyah also have that potential because their sherish is natzilus. Shaimrim neshama shazad b'tayri. That every neshama has a sherish in tayri in natzilus. But gan k'may shem biyah eno k'may kol anivoim shaim elikus kaneda. L'chein ha'shavli is gam neshama is the biyah p'nes das eli. But now I'm not sure. I said something, I'm not sure that's true, because first he said, I don't know, I thought that the Das Tachten, the Adam, should also have the behemoth. The behemoth should also have Adam. But he said, the Lashon here is more, that Yaakov said, there's Das Elyon. That the Shom is there, behemoth should not only have the Das Tachten, they should also have Das Elyon. So it's more than what I said. So in that case, I guess. Okay, so I guess what I said was wrong. In addition to the first, he introduced the concept that the shamas the biyah also have das tachted, but Yaakov's chidush was mamshad das elyon in the shamas the biyah. Zeu shekol echad ve'echad yochel loima masa agir ma'isa ma'isa ha'voisa ha'vom yitzak Yaakov. There's a famous expression in Chazal. Over here it says yochel loima, but I think the lashon in Chazal is kol echad ve'echad chayev loima. That everybody can say, let my action come to reach the level of action of that of it. Always be Yaakov. Sure, the Shom is not Tzilus. The Shom is not Tzilus. How can you say Masagir Maita Masavaysa? You need the Shom to be up. So the answer is that's the answer, that really that we can be mamsha because the shamas shosham ba'atzilus we can reach a state that even the shamas the biyah should also have that level of avodah of the shamas ba'atzilus. Zeo shekotov, there's another remez of them.
Yeah, but I think
it's
not talking here, but I think that the neshamas like Yaakov Avinu are mamshich also in neshamas the Atzilus, Einyan from a Rebbe. Here is talking about the mamshich in neshamas the biyah, but even in neshamas the Atzilus, there is what Yaakov is mamshich, Moshe is mamshich, the whole Israel.
Really?
No. So what's the difference between a Rebbe and a Chassid, Isaac Homler?
You think a Chassid is the Shabbat Atzilus? I don't know. Okay, maybe. Okay. Look, I'm not arguing with you, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure what the
Yankee is not Mamshich Biyah. He's Mamshich also in Pilus. The Mitzel Rebbe told Rabbi Isaac that you are the Neshama.
What? I didn't know. What did he say?
Isaac complained to the Mitzel Rebbe that he's having some people that are giving him a hard time. So the Rebbe said to him, "You are neshama d'Atzilus, but your goof is not a keli for that." So
that's a sicha. It's in the sicha. I don't remember what.
I saw it someplace.
Oh yeah. Okay. All right. That's all right. Fine. Yeah, you're right. And if that's the case, that the chassid can be neshama d'Atzilus, I'm sure the Rebbe gives him more. Okay. It's true. The Rebbe is a different type of Rebbe. Is not just in neshama d'Atzilus. The Rebbe is a higher level of Bichlal. But okay, so I'm not arguing, but I don't remember that sicha. The sicha for the Rebbe somewhere. But I have to find it. Okay. Yeah, but here it talks about the avodah of here it talks about the avodah of Yaakov is lahamshich. Yeah, again, like you say that's not the point he's making here, but it's a different point. Obviously, if a Baita was a Shaman Atzilus, it was only a chassid. Obviously, the Rebbe gave him something more than what he had.
That's the end of Moshe.
Yeah, there's the information. Yaakov. Yeah, okay. Okay, thank you. That's a good, interesting point. So now he brings another source that neshamas of Biyah can also have Atzilus. That's a pasuk in Shayachim. You are my sheep. Adam atem. So it says tzayin Adam atem. Arei, it's a clear pasuk. Yachli shetzayin yipkinas Adam. So you see clearly that Zera Be'ema can also have the Adam. Another raya, Maisa of it. Okay. Maisa of it, similar bonim. The Maisa of the Ovis is a similar bonim. That's the expression Chazal also, which means that the Ovis bring into the bonim. She'im shich, zera be'ema, you can't say no the mamish. That's that again. So what does it mean? So again, going back to the point he's making here, what does it mean that Yaakov Ovad B'tzoin Lavan? Because Yaakov's function was to Yaakov's function was to be mamshich the mamshich megala the Adam inside in Zera Behema. In simple terms, means that Yaakov, that neshamas, regular neshamas like us or Zera Behema should also have some type of like it says, like it says in Tanya, actually. It says in Tanya that the Beinani is alavai, Hula Aiva Ulai Tikonis Nishmas Tzadik. The Fisher means that at one point he has that madriga of Adam. But then there's another point. Now, let's say finish one point. What does it? So finish explaining the first meaning. What does it mean? Avodas Yaakov b'tzoin Lavan. It takes us to another way of elaborating what is Avodas Yaakov b'tzoin Lavan. Gamzo is another act, another aspect of Yaakov's Avodah is Shabiras and the Shamas Klipas Neg. One, the first he speaks that turned Adam into the sign into Adam. That's one thing. And another is Shabir. He elevated them. He refined them. They should get sent from the state of Klipas Neg. Why? I call it Shamas Eklanim Adam Rishon. Says in Kisra Arizal. It says in Kabbalah the Shamas Bechlal were all calling Adam Rishon. He was the first Adam, the first human being, and the Shamas are calling him. One of the effects of Chet Etzadas is that all the neshamas fell to the state of Klipas Neiga. That's what we live in. Our life, like it says in Tanya, our life is Guf Nefesh Habayim is Klipas Neiga, and the neshamas are Klipas Neiga. Yaakov Biras and neshamas the Neiga. Yaakov elevated the neshamas. They should be taken out of being controlled by Noiga. They should get out of Noiga. אמנם הביור הזה, אוי, באופן כזה, שכמו נשמע בזו, שגם כן פרס הדס. So he just... So there are two things. Number one, the beer, it took him out of the lefila of Noiga, but at the same time, also infused them with the madrig of Zera Odom, which means Shipnes Adas. Well, okay. So now he's taking us back to the beginning of the Maimer when he explained it, what it says, Vayikach Yaakov Makar Livna V'Lach. So Zera Inin HaMakar, Adam Yaakov achieved this thing of the bureau of the neshamas, and also elevate them to the state of the neshamas, the zok, and the sadas. That is the concept of the maklis. What? Shalokach makil livna lachnes chesed. Luz va'amim chnes gvura. Like it says, it was in the beginning of the Maimer from the Zoya, that Yaakov took this type of wood, that's chesed. The other type of wood is gvura. He was in the middle of Tiferes. He was the state of Tiferes, the Briach HaTichen, Shemabriach Adakot Zatach, and this Allah's man the Biyah. So he was spoiled the Amshach of the Tiferes, of Kava and Tzoy, which is oil me, Yered, Min Abriach, Min Akot Zalakot, till the end. Should be Allah's man the Biyah, Pinas Das, Akot, Kiloi, but there's there. That's what it said in the beginning of the Maimer, that Yaakov reached. It was mamsha from Zoya. There was mamsha from Kava and Tzoy, which is Oila Ad HaKes and Yered Ad HaChitachten. Mele, he reached the state of his mamsha hakudim. The geshem shali de abir nefesh habamis, just like an Aravay de Bechlal, bir nefesh habamis misal nefesh lekis. Shezeh inyan yerid haneshama shetzarech aliyah. It brings in another concept here that we always learn of Chassidus, that the Yeridus and the Neshama is Tzarech Aliyah. The Yeridus, the Neshama descends into this world in order to reach a higher state. How does it reach the Aliyah? To the beer of Nefesh Habamis. Because Nefesh Habamis. So that makes the Neshama reach higher. Sharidos alamat Yerid G'dayla. So he's married a little bit. The Yeridus and Neshama alamat Yerid G'dayla. The Milo, if they like codes, which because of Chayav Shamat telephone of the Neshama was the Milo and it's Gan Eden and so it was in the state of Bittul. Because of Chayav Shamat telephone. Mati means Bittul. והרי זה צריך עלייה, the Yeridus צריך עלייה. שהחייס noises, ומנוסויס, that's it brings another chazal when you get to the highest noises. Sakise says that they elevated. Why? What's the reason why the neshama to the avodah bir nefesh habamis reaches a higher level? Because the nefesh habamis shosh apnes nekudim. Nefesh habamis the sheish nefesh habamis is nekudim in toy, which is above tikkun. Valkena the bir nefesh habamis yeresh is the toy shaman tikkun. So that's what it is in bir nefesh habamis nefesh lekis. The nefesh lekis reaches a higher level because it's mavara the nefesh habamis, which is higher than toy. It's higher than tikkun. Kamoy kain is similar to what happens in our avodah b'chalal. The avodah bir nefesh habamis, the nefesh lekis reaches the aliyah, the intzach aliyah. So similarly, what happened by Yaakov, I did bir neshama shelach from the shosh of Hashem Torah im shapris hakudim. So similar to that, Yaakov, to the fact that he was to the maklis, he was mild in the shamas the biyah, from even a higher madrega, but that's what it says. Vayelad not sign akudim the kodim avodim. They are akudim. Akudim is a madrega even higher. What hashach is that akudim? Yesh loymar the sheirish and the shamas in place akudim. The sheirish and shamas is really the shamas of the sheirish and the shamas is in the level of akudim. Because do the tikkun b'shosh and the ma'alim mitoy. Valken the bir and the shamas in place akudim. It's very cryptic here, but Kitzer, the shamas itself are on a level the ultimate shirish and the shama is in Akudim, which is Ak, like Machshava Agdum, Neshamas Yisrael, Machshava Agdum with the Ak, sometimes the Lashon is. The Yaakov, just like an Arab waited to be a Nefesh Abamis, Nefesh Alikis reaches higher, same to Yaakov. To his biro, he reached even higher than Neshamas, because sometimes it says Nakudim is the mother. Oh no, biro zeh tzarich shiur zman sheshov v'esem shonim gam tzarich v'omer. Now he gets into more detail the way of Yaakov, how you reach this biro in this gil. Two things. Number one, he says it took a lot of time. Took him 20 years. Esem shana avatis avichem. That's the person. It was a very long process. Number one. Also, tzarich v'omer. The way he did it was in a clever, not straight way. He fooled Lavan. Lavan said he will get all those with the dots, and he gave him only all the white sheep. It's already managed to turn the white sheep into dots. He did this whole. No, that's what the pasuk describes. The whole shtick with the maklis, in a very simple sense, but there's a deeper meaning to the om. Om means that he had to use some kind of clever way of getting it.
Rashi is saying bemirmo, beomo, chochmo.
Yeah, that's in Rashi. I think bemirmo. That's when they get to ba'achicha bemirmo. He's going to bring it in a minute. That means ba'achicha bemirmo. Rashi says b'choch. Okay, because Rashi wants to avoid the negative part of it, which is like sheker. Shoma doesn't mean sheker. It doesn't mean sheker. It means a different way of that is going to explain the meaning of Omer. The Ine, so he explains why we need Omer. Why we need Omer in Avodah. The Ine yesh beis pchinas b'nei the two types of evil behavior, evil b'chlal. Aleph ha'agol ishniyav nigol hakod. When we see pure open evil, it's obvious to everybody. This is something which is easy to refine and to repair, because it's obvious. You see a person. I mean, let's bring a marshal of that. You see a person, see her in a school, see the child is misbehaving, so you know it's obvious that he's misbehaving, so you have to find ways how to discipline him, because it's clear, it's obvious, and this doesn't take time. It says in the Nimshal, it jumps right away to the Nimshal. The Esav didn't take time, didn't take 20 years. Yaakov met Esav, and right away he managed to control him. There was no need of 20 years. Why? Because Esav was our goal in this particular understanding. But then there's a different type of evil, Tomun Benela. It's evil that's hidden. Komoi, that's a very sharp line. Yesh Mishum There's some person who, on the surface, he looks like he's Shamayim, he's all good, but really internally he's all evil. So that's the concept of love and aram. So when it says hoya, I don't know. In other words, there is an aspect of love and aram that expresses this type of evil. It's not I mean, it is historical also. The concept of love and aram. That's interesting deal. It's called lovan. Lovan is white. Usually lovan, white, is an expression of purity. Tara, like the Kohen Gadol in Beis Hamikdash, Yom Kippur. What big deal lovan? Lovan means it's a very pure and white, pure.
לא הבאנו אלי.
Yeah, lo even heli. So we can use a lovan, but internally is full of lies. This type of evil is harder to elevate, yeah, because it's hidden. Okay, look, there's other chassidus about it. In this Maimon, he just says it very bekitzer. There's a lot of chassidus, the whole thing about Ra'nelam. That if the evil is not obvious, it's much harder to control it. If, in other words, a person thinks to himself, let's say in Avodah, a person thinks to himself that I'm good. the person within himself, he feels that he's good, even though he's not. So he's not going to confront his own midas horrors. Let's say he says, "Oh, the reason I did this is because of this, not because I have to work on my internal behavior." Only when it's obvious to him that that's wrong, that's easier to control. Like the Rebbe brings in the Psichos, always the famous Gemara, the famous Mishnah, that Chatas Bas Danken Osham, that the Osham Tolu is cost more than a Chatas. Chatas means you sin. Osham Tolu means a suffix. You may be sinned. So, but the Pearl, the Gemara says that the halacha is that for a Chatas is much cheaper, but the actual korban is cheaper for Chatas than an Osham. So it says in the sources, and everybody brings in the Sichos to bring out this point, similar point one makes here. No, person knows for sure that he sinned, so he made the decision. I made a mistake. I sinned. I ask forgiveness. I bring a korban and give weiter. Osham Tolu means the person is not sure that he sinned, so he's good with himself. So mainly he doesn't have that feeling of regret. That's why in order for him to do it, to reach the level of fixing the suffix, he has to pay much more. It's not exactly the same point, but it's similar. So the same thing here. Golui, something that's obvious, so you see it, you fix it. Nelam, something that is hidden. You can tell yourself, no, I didn't. It wasn't true. Person can tell himself, the reason I did this and that there was a good reason. I have a good excuse. So because he has an excuse, he's never going to confront himself and fix it. So how do you fix it? It's much harder work. He has to really contemplate and think more carefully about what really caused them to fail. And through hard work, he reaches the point that the recognition that he failed, and he fixes it. It's harder to fix. That's the point he's making. That's why Lavan took much longer. Not only that, the avodah Lavan at two stages. That's the fact that it takes a long time. That's one point. But there's another point. The way Lavan dealt Yaakov was be'omo. He wasn't straight. Number one, like the pasuk says. He changed his. He didn't. I think it sounds like he promised him one salary and he gave him a different one. He wasn't straight with it. And also, gam shezeh gufu mash'in techik kavora is a oma. I don't know what exactly that means. The fact that he was dishonest. It's in these things it's unclear if you're talking about the actual Lavan or we're talking about in avodah in current life. It makes it sound like the two stages here. Number one, the fact that he is in a state that he's dishonest, so that's called Orma also. That's what says of Siddur in other places. That how do you fix a situation that the Yetzer Hara is fooling you by fooling the Yetzer Hara, being dishonest with the Yetzer Hara. Because if you're going to be straight, he'll fool you. What is the dogma Chassidus always bring? I don't remember now. That Chassidus brings the dogma is how this concept of being Muhammad Yetzer Hara, it's not everybody's avoided. They say that they talk about Chassidim who acted as if they're simple people. Bechitzonius, they make the impression of doing something which is wrong in order to fool the Yetzer Hara. Not sure in practical terms what it means.
It's scared that he was always acting like he did. Be a heroes, MacGyver.
Oh yeah, the guy. Okay, that's one dogma. Okay, the MacGyver was a way to cover up the Nova. Shuffle be'emes. He used to write a shuffle be'emes. Really, this MacGyver was covering up the Nova. Okay, it's one good example. The Gam. So that's one thing. Then he brings a third reason why we need armor. The third reason, the tchilas and nitzotzes lachitzayim of armor. The whole concept of the nefila, the fact that the evil powers of evil got the unique of Likus, also started with an act of armor, with an act of lie. What is the act? Because of Nachash Oya Om. The Nachash was he was clever, which means Pitas Chava, he seduced Chava le'echel me'etz hadas, but titin gam le'ish, but then naflo on the shaman that closes over klipas noig. So that's another reason. What?
Klipas noiga?
That's remember, that's what we learned it in the bottom of page base. Chet etz hadas naflo klipas noig. The neshamas naflo klipas noig. In other words, our neshamas. That says in Tanya, all of us, the neshama lobish beguf, guf is klipas noig, and the shamam is klipas noig. In Parashat Bereshit, it describes what would have happened if Adam wouldn't sin echet etz hadas. Then the whole reality that we know now wouldn't exist. It would be a different reality. The avodah would be ba'olam eselyonim. There would be no klipas noiga, according to the way he explains over there. It's one of these topics. How to what? Sorry.
The
What?
neshamot fell or the kedusha fell in the or the
neshama. Right now we're talking about the neshamas. We just learned that on bottom of page base. Neshamas are including bottom of Rishon. B'chet etz hadas naflo bring up noig. Okay, maybe I'll
right?
Sorry, I don't hear what.
And not in Gimel Klippis at Meis.
No, not in Meis. I mean, the neshamas like I said, the neshamas are in melubash naguf and nefesh habavos, which is klipas noig, not klipas at Meis. That's how described in Kabbalah. Okay, we'll talk about it hopefully more Sunday. Okay, good job.
Good job. Thank you.
Shabbos.